Content warning. This episode of She, They, Just Like Me for Real deals with suicidal ideation, dissociative identity disorder, and substance abuse. Listener discretion is advised. Moth.
And I'm Siobhan.
And She, They, Just Like Me.
For real.
Wow. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey. You'll never believe this. I haven't been telling you off mic for the last 20 minutes or anything, but...
No, we just hopped in call.
Yeah. I'm drunk. So this is going to be a fun one.
I've popped my progesterone already. So it's a ticking time bomb for when I start feeling a little goofy myself. But
let's go.
We're just going to ride this out because we were supposed to have done this yesterday and we had a big old catch-up sesh and we're like, wow, we talked for 2 hours and it's too late now. Can't record. Gonna do it tomorrow. And here we are. This is the product of that. We got a meal in front of us here in the shape of the Transgender Street Legend EP Trilogy by Left at London. Probably overdue getting around to these because they've been out for a minute. But
yes,
I also kind of, during the discussion, I do kind of want to touch on why that might be. And it's no fault of the work itself, but I think it's just a product of the musical landscape, I guess we could say.
What do you mean by that?
Around the time these came out, like by the time the second one came out and you saw the 6 foot track produced by Dylan Brady, that was already like, wow, okay, 100X has kind of solidified themselves as being a big fuck deal, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of what comes out of trans music circles tends to be a little more weird. Like hyperpop, for example, you got nightcore, some stuff that might be a little more loud, a little more harsh and abrasive.
Yeah, a lot of rock, like just straight up rock too. You know, like we've covered a lot of like, especially punk rock records.
Yeah, a lot of it's very angry. You know, It's very angry, it's very sad, it's very all of that. And Left at London's work doesn't really fit into a lot of those categories. And
yeah.
What we've talked about, too, which is going to make it a challenging discussion for us, is that not a lot of these songs really deal with being trans, which I think is kind of a relatable entryway for a lot of the music we have talked about on the show before. Yeah, like, I know this. I've experienced this myself, so I already know how this feels. So a lot of this is very new, and a lot of this is very challenging. And in that way, I'm not saying it's any fault of its own, but I think that might be part of why these EPs don't really come up in conversation a lot, because I don't really know how the average person would categorize them. I listened to a lot of like transgender artist playlists, maybe like the summer of last year, just trying to discover more artists and stuff like that. Left at London really didn't come up much. And if she did, it was really just Revolution Lover. And that's a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, that song bangs, but yeah, it's, I don't know.
It does.
It's funny that you say that, though, because like I was talking to this one guy that I work with who's like a big music head. We were like driving back from a project and I was like, oh, we should like do a jam and like go like song for song. You know, that would be fun. And he was like, yeah, but you know what they say, like you can't hand a trans girl the aux because she's going to put out the most unlistenable shit. And I was like, okay, that's it, motherfucker. And I put on some Left at London. I think Left at London is like one of our best, truly, like in terms of like musicians who like make music that's like sort of widely accessible. because it like a lot of these genres that we were discussing are like very particular. You know, hyperpop is like you better and nightcore, like you better be into like this kind of electronic sound, or this is going to sound like goop to you. You know what I mean? And I think it does to a lot of people.
This is going to be super obnoxious. Yeah.
Yeah. And I of course I love that music, and I don't think that we should make music that is always palatable to everyone. But I think another reason why we haven't discussed these EPs yet, even though like Left at London is a pretty famous and popular musician, I deeply love and respect this music so much that like I kind of wanted to be good at talking about music and like get a couple of podcasts like under my belt before I was like ready to discuss it. You know what I mean? Like I needed to go to like fucking
I think that's totally fair. Yeah.
I'm just really excited to get into these. Like she's incredible.
I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience with Natalie and her content. Remember back, I think it was maybe episode 1, where you were talking about how a lot of the content creators you were watching, ContraPoints, Meleets, were all of a sudden all transitioning, and you were like, "Oh fuck, what does this mean for me?" You know, I relate so much to this
people.
work.
Yeah,
I was not on Vine back in the day, but a lot of Vines were making their way to Twitter, and I think I had seen a lot of the Left at London Vines and the Vine compilations on YouTube. I've noticed this recently. Not so much since I kind of left TikTok. I'm like barely on there at all anymore.
Yeah, of course. Me neither. Fuck that place.
There have been a lot of instances of finding a trans creator on TikTok, thinking they're really funny, and then like a week or two later, they're promoting a new song. And I'm not saying that negatively. I'm just saying that, like, unfortunately, that's how you do it now. Like... Yeah. I know back in the day of like Broadway, whatever thing, you had to be like a triple threat. You had to sing, you had to dance, you had to act, all this, right? And now, if you want to be a performer and you want to get music out there and you want it to reach a larger audience, you have to hook them first with being funny. And then you have to hit them with, hey, here's a new song that's coming out. Like, Chrissy isn't trans, but she's an example that came up of someone who did that very well, I think. But like, there's no... Like, I can't, of course, mention any off the top of my head right now. There's Astrid, I remember, was an example of that, where I remember seeing videos and thinking they were very funny, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, here's a link to my new single. And I think it's a good way of doing it and getting your stuff out there, but, like, Natalie and her stuff predates that whole experience, I think. And the way it came about for me was I saw the Vine compilations, I thought those were all funny. Started following her on Twitter, I believe. I'd noticed she was putting out these compilations, the Views from the Tipton compilation, which were very much like Neil Cicierega, where it's like editing different stuff together and these funny remixes and stuff like that. And I was fucking with those heavy. I thought those were really funny and really creative. But then slowly but surely, I started seeing some original stuff come out, and specifically the Purple Heart Emoji EP, which was such a moment for me, I think, as someone who wouldn't come out as trans for a few years after that. I remember when this came out, and I re-listened to it recently, and was just reminded of how jazzy and interesting this thing was. But what really stuck out with me was a tweet where someone asked about using the Purple Heart. And Natalie was like, oh yeah, this is like a sapphic symbol. And the person was like, oh, okay. And for whatever reason, there was like a little tinge in my head of like wanting to use it. And I didn't know why. And that's such a small interaction that I'm sure Natalie doesn't remember because it was just a random Twitter interaction with just some random person. But I remember seeing that on my timeline and that just being another egg crack on the side of the bowl, you know? And I think experiencing Natalie's early works really did have a part in that for me. because I was not following a lot of trans creators. I didn't know where to look, which is why it's so crazy now to be like so deep into trans Twitter and just be like, oh yeah, we're fucking everywhere. But at the time, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was really just kind of drowning in the whole thing.
Yeah, and like the algorithm pushes things that are popular, which tends to push a particular kind of thing, right? But yeah,
that's true. I mean, yeah, the sex work posts are getting thousands and tens of thousands of likes. Yeah, this average shit post from this girl halfway across the country probably isn't gonna hit your timeline as easy. Yeah, that's for true. But with Revolution Lover and Transgender Street Legend 1, this is where it all fucking came to a head. But it's gonna change. I can feel it coming. And when it's here, we'll be side by side. Like, for the song being out as long as it has, and how far backwards a lot has went since the release of the song, it's like... It's very bittersweet, but it's gonna change, I could feel it coming. Like, maybe at the time it felt more tangible, but now it feels less and less within our grasp, And I feel like a song like this is just gonna be around for a long time. Like, I feel like this is the kind of song that gets played at the rally celebrating when we actually do get rights, whenever the fuck that is. Fucking soulful as hell vocals from Natalie on this one too. Soulful Natalie might be my favorite shade of Natalie on these releases. God. Just so sings to my fucking heart.
I think I got into her because she appeared on an episode of Song versus Song, which is Todd in the Shadows podcast.
Oh, wow.
I started listening to her music and I got so into it, and like Revolution Lover is like her top song, and it's also the first song off of Volume 1 of Transgender Street Legend. Basically, from the first time I've heard this song till now, it just makes me think of my ex-girlfriend Natasha, who's just this like very important, woman in my life. We've been best friends for years before both of us transitioned, right? One of the things that we've always really like related over was our like love of and belief in sort of like leftist causes and politics and things like that, right? So this song has always just been about her to me. And it's also kind of heartbreaking because like very famously like Nat like refuses to like discuss this song or play it or like anything because the relationship did not go well. I also get that because like this song is so... It's like so it's so sweet, and I feel so deeply the love in it, which is one reason why it makes me think of my ex Natasha. And I gotta say, when her and I broke up, this song came on my shuffle once, and I was just fucking in tears for like,
No.
So I get it. It's like, I didn't even write the song, but it's like, I just can't, especially like the outro where it's just like, I'm yours over and over and over again. Yeah. And then the very last part where she hits that whistle note, I'm yours, and it like soars, and it's just like, oh God, I can imagine like having written this song for a particular person, that going wrong, and then just being completely unable to ever sing this song again. It's just like, I get it. I completely get it. Or even discuss it. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, well, that was the first song. And that's also like, so if you have not listened to Left at London before, obviously like that is the entry, like listen to that song and you get a sort of sense about what a lot of her music is like.
I will say, I'm only slightly jealous that your introduction was hearing Natalie on Song for Song and not the 3 or 4 appearances she had in the Going Off podcast. But you know what? That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's the other thing too. Like, I'm surprised you didn't mention that. Like, you know her. She's like, an online friend of yours, right?
I think Natalie is also... She holds a very special place in my heart because she is one of the very first trans people I became friends with online. just forever will always be extremely important to me. And the first time we had her on Going Off, which, by the way, since the last episode of Going Off, R.I.P.
Gonna miss that show.
We wrapped up Going Off.
That means you gotta ramp this show up, girl. Let's fucking start cranking these bitches out, okay? I know, I say that, and I know full well that I'm the limiting factor here, that it's like you're always ready to record, and I'm like, babe, I just worked 60 hours a week in the sun. Like, please, like...
Yeah, no, I'm not about to push you or pressure you at all. I am available probably every week, but that's okay.
Yes.
That's okay. And I'll take full blame and responsibility that it normally takes me a little while to get the episodes edited. So look, it's on both of us, okay? I'll take responsibility too.
Okay, well, thank you for that, but it's definitely on me more than it is on you, okay? Let's be so for real now. Like, I appreciate you giving me this out, but, like, come on, okay? But yes, we should be... I hope to be recording more shows in the coming months. I want to really, really, like, do more of this, because I love doing this show with you, Moth. I really do.
I love it too.
Yes.
It's so much fun, and I love when we get to talk about these things. And I think hearing each other's views on them adds a new layer of the recordings forever. Like, I always have like that. Oh yeah, I remember we had the discussion about that. Like, fucking Underscores is dropping a new song tonight, or already did. And like, I can't fucking listen to Wall Socket without thinking about the first episode of the pod. Like, it's always going to have a special place, you know? It's just what their bag was back in the day, baby. You think? Just a complication after complication. And instead we talked about a Death Grips album, which is, you know, close enough.
Yeah.
There were so many complications, and it ended up being that we recorded the episode in two halves. One, which was just a discussion with Natalie, and the other half was the album discussion. And for the album discussion, my audio is just not present. And it just didn't record. And I was like on the verge of tears because I was embarrassed. I felt like this was such an important moment for me to have Natalie on the show. And for that to be her first impression, I was like, well, that's it. That's fucking done. Like, I fucking blew it.
Oh.
But she ended up having a lot of fun. And we ended up having her on for 2 more episodes. Brockhampton 1 for Iridescence. And I don't remember what the other one was. But she's always been a lot of fun to have on the show. Really adds a lot to the discussions of the albums. First round draft pick for guest on this pod, but kind of like you had mentioned earlier about why we haven't talked about the albums is because you wanted experience in that way. We didn't want to have a guest that felt like, I don't know, like, I don't want to say like important, because every guest we've had on the show has been important, but
yes,
just kind of the layer of like pressure that we might feel, you know?
People that we've had on the show are people that I got into after transitioning. Like, Left at London was someone that I was into years before, and I've sort of like idolized for a really long time. And like, because I remember like when we first started discussing this show, like in concept, it was you were like, oh yeah, and like, you know, like Natalie Left at London, like we could probably have her on the show like whenever, you know. And I was like, oh, not at first. I can't talk to her right now. Like,
which is I will
just be like, oh my god, I love you, you're an angel. It would just be terrible. Like, in my mind, in many ways, she's like a fucking saint that exists in this like distant, like, you know, heavenly place, you know, where like, how do you even talk to the divine? You know what I mean? Which has got to be interesting for you, because like for you, I mean, like, she's also important, but also one of your friends, right? Someone that you know and talk to. Mm-hmm. So it's like a different thing. I
would definitely put her in the same pantheon of like, I've joked about having Laura Jane Grace on the show, and I don't even know how I would approach her. But yeah, I agree with you in that same sense because, yeah, I listened to Left in London before I transitioned, and like my relation to Revolution Lover and the first couple EPs, they're different because I wasn't out yet. I didn't even know what the fuck that meant for me, you know? It's definitely an experience going back and talking about them now, especially a song we'll get to here in a second. But we gotta go to I Split My Ribs Open, featuring other 3-time going off guest appearance Open Mike Eagle, who, can I just say, you know, they say like top 10 anime pairings or whatever, crossovers. Seeing friend of the podcast Left at London featuring friend of the podcast Open Mike Eagle was a mind-blowing experience. Like, I think I was in the car driving to work and I was listening to the EP for the first time, and that guest verse started, and I was like, no fucking way that's Open Mike Eagle. Like, I lost my goddamn mind. I was like, this is insane. What the fuck, this pull? This is nuts. And that guest verse, trying on my slip-on disguise, I'm wondering which wire I done tripped on this time, stuttering in every language I have ever learned, and I'm usually hella good at feeling very unconcerned, but there's something in my eye, or it's something in the sky, oh fuck it, I'm crying, and there's a bunch of reasons why. And maybe I should focus on the one that's most ferocious. I split my ribs open, ain't nobody even notice. Look at all this blood, this whole damn kitchen's about to flood, about to dirty up the hospital scrubs, or fuck up your buzz, and when I'm gone, don't pretend like you didn't know what it was, and nah, I don't mean when I die, I mean when I leave without saying goodbye, cause I'm offended that I'm hurting and your care is denied. You're just gonna stare at the sky? Alright, bet, I'm a bear in mind, but when it hurts, don't compare it to mine.
Okay, first of all, okay, Moth, okay, where did that come from? Hello, but I mean, you know, I kind of should have expected that because you did a show with the rap critic for years, so like a decade.
Look, I don't listen to rap a lot anymore, but I have my moments.
yeah, of course. But also, okay, so another thing too, like I said that like Left at London has like the spirit of an R&B singer, and I mean that in a lot of ways. Like a lot of her music is like very influenced by like rap and soul. This is like a very clear example of that. Like this song, the chorus, stay back, come back, make up your mind. Like the way she sings that, you should drop it.
Stay back, come back, make up your mind.
The delivery on Are You Safe too? Just the Are You Safe? Look.
Yeah.
Like.
And it's mostly a cappella too. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, absolutely wild. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but just finding the community and people to trust is not easy. So yeah, like that's a question that runs through your mind when you make a new connection with somebody. Just, are you safe? Like, even if it's like platonic friendship or whatever, of just like, is this gonna go bad? Like, you know? So you never know. So you always, at least with me, like, I'm trying to get better about like not being so open and friendly and trusting right away, because I feel like that is something I tend to do. I'm just so eager and happy to make new friends that I'm just like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then I find the shit out later and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. But yeah, that's definitely a good question to ask in those situations. Just try to prepare yourself.
I interpret the song very differently. A lot of this song makes me think about being like attached to someone who is really, what's the word? It's not anxiously attached. It's avoidant attachment. Stay back, come back, make up your mind. Sort of has that sort of like alternating between anxious and avoidant attachment a lot. Stay back, come back, make up your mind, because I can feel it getting imminent. I know you feel a bit resigned, and I've never been articulate, so are you safe? I definitely hear like your interpretation in that too, where it's like, you know, you're wondering if someone is like a good investment of your time. And it could be romantic. It could be like a friendship connection too.
As I was saying my description, I knew you were going to have that feeling in your own way.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it still kind of like overlaps in the Venn diagram as to how I feel about it too. It's
Absolutely.
just like, I feel like in queer friendships, as we've discovered,
Yeah.
a lot of it, like, it's different than a friendship with just like a cishet dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And especially with me because I mean, you've also said this recently, but I also feel my feelings very hard. Even a platonic friendship with another trans person, for me, even if it's, you know, no kind of like romance involved, it can be very easily hit that same nerve for me.
Of course, yeah. And we've kind of gone through that, like, in our friendship, you know, like there has been a bit of a like push and pull. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, of course. And like that's also kind of what I think this song is sort of generally about, the dichotomy of anxious versus avoidant attachment, because like everyone kind of alternates between those, but especially some people alternate very drastically, and I'm one of those people. I can be very anxiously attached. I can be very avoidantly attached, and it's usually like a pretty extreme one or the other often. And you know, I think we've gone through in our friendship like times where like I'm very avoidantly attached and you're very anxiously attached. And that's tough, you know? And like but I also agree that it's like, you know, like this is not like a friendship I've had with any other particular person where it's like very like, this is a very meaningful, important friendship to me, like you and I, right? So like, you know, that also resonates with me, Moth. And I hear you, and I'm with you there.
I Don't Trust You Anymore is the one I was going to mention before. This, I think, this was already released as a single on a compilation, Tunes for Trans Lives, that I think it came out a year before the first EP did. So I'd already heard the song, so I was very excited to hear it pop up on here. You ever hear the song Rat by Penelope Scott?
Yes. That I also think of that song every time I hear this.
And vice versa. Every time I hear Rat by Penelope Scott, I think of, you know, I used to look up to the billionaires and all the presidents.
Yes.
So yeah, look at that.
That's so funny that because I have the exact same connection to it.
Going back and listening to this again, openly trans, and hearing lines like being kicked out of a bathroom and, oh, but I suppose you're proud of me, and you look up to me while you attack my sisters. Like, again, a feeling I got listening to this song back in the day as an egg, and hearing just talking about, you know, my sisters and everything. Like, you know the meme where it's like a video of a cat and they play like Egyptian music, and like the cat looks like a sleeper cell just got activated of like, oh, my homeland, I'm supposed to be being praised in Egypt. That is kind of the feeling I think I got when I listened to this, of just this means something to me, and I'm not sure what it is, but something in my brain recognizes that this is important.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also funny. I have also the exact same memory of this, like listening to this pre-transition and being like, wow, like it's so cool that like, being a trans woman is kind of this sort of like divine sorority, you know what I mean? Like that, but like, and I kind of like longed for that, and then I was like, stuff it down, you know what I mean?
Because like I didn't feel a brothership to my male friends, except for like Dylan, I guess, who now like has openly called me his sister, which I fucking love.
That's so good.
That dude means so much to me. Like, knew that dude for 20 fucking years since we went to college together, and like, like, you always hear about the fucking cis dudes that leave and end up being shitty. And Dylan, you're a real one. If you're fucking listening to this, I love you so much. You mean so much to me.
Aww.
But yeah, just in general, like, my connection to men was just like, eh. But it's nowhere near how I feel about my connection to women now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, even today, I was like, in between digging my silly little holes in the field, I was like in a Discord server, like arguing with this girl about some bullshit. I think we were like arguing about I saw the TV glow, and I was like making the points I made in our podcast about it. I used the honorific love, and like, you know, I don't think it's like that, love, you know what I mean? And she was confused by that. Because it's like, oh, aren't we like fighting right now? And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, but like, I just want, like, I'm just thinking about this, like, we're having a discussion, but like, you'll always be like my sister in this, like, you know, in this divine sorority that we have, you know? And I truly deeply feel that way about every trans woman, you know, like even the bad ones. I love them. And this song is very much about that, about like not trusting the powers that be, especially not trusting, you know, the liberals, right? Because it's like,
yes.
But I guess you're proud of me though, or like, I see you suck up to me as they attack my sisters, right? It's like, you know, this, you're just trying to score points. And it's also a very, you know, I mean, like the first volume of this trilogy came out in 2018. So it's like very, and this song especially came out in 2017 before. I don't know. Looking back on it, it's interesting because now I feel like we're all like, whoa, actually, we will take the fair weather fans. You know what I mean? Like, come back. Actually, we need you. I especially feel like we're just kind of getting abandoned in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But it still deeply resonates with me because it's fucking true. You know what I mean? That like, it's a very shallow kind of allyship that can be helpful in some ways, but ultimately does not solve the issues that we experience, right? Like it's all for points in some stupid game, and it doesn't actually benefit us in any way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's not the goal. The goal isn't to benefit us. It's to further the wealthy.
Yeah, of course.
It's funny. When this song came out, it really was the perfect time for me because I'll fully admit that for the longest time I was not politically active. I really didn't pay attention to a lot of the kind of stuff. Probably for a lot of people, probably younger than me, it's kind of embarrassing that it took me so long to get politically active at my age. Bernie was the moment for me. Bernie was the activation point, but 9/11 was really when I was radicalized. And I think I might have mentioned this on the show before, but like 9/11, and I know this might not have been a topic that you'd expect to come up on this episode, but I'll be brief. 9/11 had a chance of radicalizing you in two very, very different ways. It could either make you a horrible Islamophobic racist, or it could do what it did for me. Awaken me to the fake patriotism, awoken me to how scary and ugly nationalism was. I went from being in school and every Friday at the end of the day, they would play pop music, like top 40 pop music, like, hey, the school day's over, you're going home, you want to listen to Milkshake when you're getting your books at the end of the day? Like, that's a fun little thing. Here's Hey Ya. Here's The Way You Move, right?
Oh my god, I love The Way You Move.
The Way You Move is such a fucking... Look, I don't love a lot of songs on Speakerbox to love below, but the hits hit.
The hits hit.
But after 9/11, that went away. And the only song that played while you were getting your books was goddamn Lee Greenwood's I'm Proud to Be an American.
Oh my god. Well, at least you know you're free, right?
At least I know I'm free, the closeted high schooler who's so afraid that all of my friends might find out I'm bi.
See, it's so funny because I love doing that song in karaoke and just really hurdy-gurdying it up. It's so funny.
Oh,
but,
God damn.
But it's ironic, right? It's funny. But anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's hysterical. I did not know you ever did this one in karaoke. That I'm fucking obsessed with that now.
Yeah. Well, I do like a lot of songs in karaoke as a joke, like once or twice, you know? And that's definitely one. It's so funny. But yeah, another thing I want to mention about this, and I saw this on Genius, and I think Natalie put this in. She said, the percussion is just me slapping my thighs and a bottle of estradiol I use as a shaker. I was like, that's crazy.
I know. That's so fucking wild. Like, when you read that and when you go back and listen, it totally does just sound like slapping thighs. But it's not something you think about when you're listening to it the first time. But now it's like, yeah, of course it is. You know?
Yeah, and that's like another thing I think is really incredible about Left at London is that, like, I think all of her stuff is bedroom pop in that she's like literally just making it in her bedroom, but it does not sound like that. It's like very like incredibly well produced. You know what I mean?
And I could also relate in the way that this whole time we've been recording, I've been stimming with my thighs, squishing them. So I understand slapping your thighs, because who doesn't love slapping your thighs? That is like one of the big pluses of transitioning, I've noticed, is becoming more and more aware of how fucking juicy my goddamn thighs are.
Oh my God. I mean, relatable.
But anyway. I'm just trying to lighten the load because of what we're getting to next.
Oh God. I can get through discussing this next song. I can do it.
Can I just say before we get started that it's so incredibly mean to open the EP with Revolution Lover and then end with a song like this, bookending the EP? It's so mean. Like,
it's so mean.
The feelings.
Yeah, like, it's the cycle of love, right? It's like, you know, you have your highs where it's like everything is soaring and you're hitting those fucking whistle notes, which is crazy, by the way. Like, just absolutely insane to be able to hit those notes. But and then it goes from that to, you know, the inverse of that. And also sometimes I think that's like why like heartbreak hits so hard, because like when you're in love, it's like you get this like massive like dose of dopamine. It's like a very I think this is especially the case for like neurodivergent people, which like you and me and her, right? Like all of us, you know, you get a big hit of dopamine when you're in love all the time with other people, and that's cool as fuck until it's taken away. And then, like, you have a massive, like, dopamine deficit, which makes you fucking depressed. And you don't have any energy to do anything. So, yeah. And also, the last 3 weeks, I've worked 60 hours. So, I'm doing...
That is so...
great.
Oof, that's so nuts. But before we get into waiting on a ghost... The way you just described that reminded me of another very topical, because I was just listening to it this morning, the song Why They Call It Falling by Leanne Womack that came out in 2000.
Yes.
The opening verse, it's like jumping, it's like leaping, it's like walking on the ceiling, it's like floating, it's like flying through the sky, it's like soaring, it's like gliding, it's a rocket ship you're riding, it's a feeling that can take you anywhere. So why they call it falling, I don't know. And then the breakup happens through the song and go, and that's why they call it falling. And it's like, now I know why they call it falling. Yeah. And it's like, fuck me, that's a rough one. On the same goddamn album with I Hope You Dance? Like, fucking hell. This fucking album is such a goddamn emotional roller coaster. And I'm at work listening to this? This is rough. This is a mistake.
Also, I'm so glad that, like, I've kind of, because I'm going through a big country kick right now, and I feel like I've a little bit inspired a country kick in you as well, just by, you know, because we share music with each other all the time. So I'm just really happy for that. It's good to hear, and to be like, ooh, is that my influence? Ooh, I wonder.
Yes. I was so incredibly influenced by your telling me about country stuff to check out Leanne Womack. I bought a Leanne Womack CD a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
I hadn't listened to it yet. And I just got a copy of I Hope You Dance from the library sale on Monday. So I was like, I hadn't listened to this yet. And I was driving at work, and the song I'll Find a Reason Later from the 1998 album came on. And I was like, I fucking love the woman country songs that are like, and look, me and you talked about this a little bit.
Mhm.
It's the hating on the other woman song.
Yes, they're so good though.
Those are so fucking funny to me. And yeah, this song is all about the guy leaves and gets with another woman, and it's somebody you know nothing about. You've never talked to her. All you know about her is that it's the man's new woman, and the whole chorus is just like, I hate her. I don't know her, but I hate her, and I'll find a reason later. Like,
Yes.
This is enough of a reason for right now.
Yes.
It's like, girl, you're fucking spitting. I love this.
Real. And also, like, who among us, babe? Like, look, there are some girls. There are some girls that I do not like for no other reason than they had something or have something that I want. I'll just say, and I won't reveal who they are.
Absolutely.
But like, oh my god, when we're even in many cases mutuals, and I'm just like, every time I see them on the TL, I'm just like, oh, I hate you. You know what I mean? And they're totally nice girls. Like, I love them. You know, they're my sisters. They're my sisters in the divine sorority. But
Yay!
You know, relatable.
Yes. Felt. Yes.
Yeah. Let's get into this song.
I was gonna say, I don't think we've actually touched it yet. I think we're avoiding it, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, this song, okay, so,
Waiting on a Ghost.
yeah, this song is sort of like a hot stove for me, where, like,
Fair.
I, especially recently, have been putting this on. I actually added the song to a new playlist that I made called, It's Time to Cry, Baby, because it would just make me fucking weep.
Yeah,
you
that's
know, which is
fair.
like cathartic, and sometimes like when you're going through like a heartbreak and there's nothing to be done, which is often many heartbreaks, it's just like you need to cry because it's like extremely cathartic to cry. It feels like you've gotten somewhere, even if all you've done is just like weep inconsolably alone in your hotel room. And your name is Siobhan. You know, an experience we've all had.
Oddly specific.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it, right? Waiting on a Ghost. Almost no word. Like, lyrically, very straightforward. Not a lot. I mean,
Very sparse.
very sparse, not straightforward, but sparse. That's a better word. Verse 1. I was in love, you were impatient. I was your fool, your entertainment. Now I'm in the ballroom just waiting to dance with your ghost. And dancing exhausts me, but I'd like to dance with you most. And I don't need to kiss you. I don't even need to be friends. I just want to be told when it ends. Let me talk about it this way, and I don't think this is going to be necessarily relatable directly to the song, but it is relatable to me in my experience.
Okay.
With people and being polyamorous, I don't really desire like relationships with people often, because it's like, especially if they don't live in my city, like that's just not a feasible thing. You know what I mean? That's not a realistic thing to want or desire. But I still do desire in those situations having a moment with someone, having a dance with someone, if you will, where like you and this person where me and this person, let me just make this very about me, because it is, where me and a particular person that I desire, like, are in the same place together and can sort of like act on like desires that we have. And it's not even like always sexual. I mean, I know it might sound that way, but it's like, it's a lot of it is really more just about like, what is it like when we're like together in the same place and like we're experiencing things. And that's why I think like the metaphor of a dance is so particular, because it's like a dance is a short period of time. It's one song. You and another person are embracing and moving together, and for a brief moment of time you are one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, you know, you realize that you've been dancing with a ghost, and that is very difficult because, like you, like Nat says in the song, you don't realize that it has ended, but there you are, like dancing with a ghost, you know. And it's very difficult, and also just the way that she sings the song, like she's the kind of vocalist that she's like an actress with the way that she sings in many ways. You can feel emotion in her voice very deeply, and she like really like gets in there in a lot of ways, right? I mean, God, she just really gets me, girl. I don't know, like, I don't want to kiss you. I don't even want to be friends. I just want to be told when it ends. Okay. It's a rough one. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, it happens. Yeah, and we can move on now.
Okay. So that is the first volume. Just short, 4 tracks. Then we head on to 2020 to Transgender Street Legend Volume 2. As the wrestler Taz would often say in his promos, the mood is about to change.
That's so true, though. Holy shit.
Folks, if you've been very unaware of global events in the past decade or so, so COVID hit, right?
Yeah, something happened in 2020. It was very serious. Also, this came out in September of 2020, which I think is an important detail too, because like that was also post like Black Lives Matter movement, you know?
Yes.
Which is quite significant, yeah.
This really is where just everything fucking changed. Like it's right up there with like 2001, honestly.
Yeah, very similar vibes.
My workplace alone, it's different now, but it was rocked to its fucking core of just like, we're having these, like, we're watching videos about, you know, diversity, and like all of a sudden that's really where it kicked in, like corporations feeling like they had to address this in some way. I was gonna say some meaningful way, but it's just a way they thought that they could reference it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'll just say this, just kind of seeing how corporations responded to COVID and just how they just didn't give a fuck. And it's just work and productivity is always going to be paramount over human lives.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fucking matter how it affects your life, how it destroys your life in any way. At the end of the day, you're always replaceable. At the end of the day, it's always about the bottom line. And even in the face of one of the largest humanitarian health crises in the modern times, companies still said too fucking bad. Make it work.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't already radicalized, just seeing the total lack of care and the lack of empathy, I was already very well aware that corporations don't give a fuck about you anyway. But this was like the big insult to injury slap in the face of like, wow, fuck me. Okay, goddamn. I think a lot of that energy is reflected on this EP. It's a lot angrier. It's a lot more aggressive, especially starting with Do You See Us?
Yes.
Is goddamn. It's very specific again. It's from a previously released 2-track EP called Jenny Durkin Resign in Disgrace, which also had another track called As Blue as a Bruise, which is so incredibly haunting. And I wish it was on here also, but it unfortunately didn't make it because this is already 6 tracks as opposed to the last EP's 4. But holy shit, yeah, and its response to the Seattle mayor, Jenny Durkin, and her response to the George Floyd protests in Seattle. The EP cover is a bloodied face mask.
Such shocking imagery, you know what I mean? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, if that just doesn't put it all into fucking perspective.
Real.
Like, goddamn. It, and I hate to keep bringing her up, but it reminded me a lot of the album that followed Transgender Dysphoria Blues, fucking Shapeshift with Me.
Yes.
How it just straight up opens with like a protest song about a proposition. And it's just like, wow, okay, this is very more direct anger than we heard on Transgender Dysphoria Blues. Like, all that was just kind of around the centralized feeling of someone struggling with their early transition. This is more pointed. This is actually more specific about things that are actually pissing me off in the moment.
It sort of follows the general cycle of transition too, where like at first you're kind of very fixated on the transition itself. And like also just like the like sort of immediate changes that you experience and how it, you know, and I don't really think the first like Transgender Street Legend EP really is about that, but it is a lot more straightforward in the sense that like it's about like in a lot of cases relationships and community, you know, but in a very like more of a straightforward way, where like this gets more into like, okay, now I've been here for a while, I'm like focused on like larger things and I see the larger perspective on a lot of stuff. And also, I mean, honestly, it could just be like 2022. I don't want to assign too much like meaning to that, but fuck you and the slavers that you work for. This song's for the people you kill. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like,
oh man.
Oh my god. Generally it's quite similar to I Don't Trust You Anymore, except I Don't Trust You Anymore is like a fun little like, you know, I don't trust you anymore, no way, no, you know, this is like fuck you and the slavers that you work for. Like,
with these like distorted vocals too, like it's such a gritty, nasty sounding song. It's like, the feeling in like Revolution Lover is very like, yeah, we're gonna get through this, and then
we'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is like, you're incapable of empathy.
Yeah. Wow. Goddamn. And like, I'm not saying this anger wasn't there when the first EP came out, but so much had happened that it was bound to come out. Like, there's no keeping this
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this song is fucking incredible. I don't even really know what else to add specifically, just how
fuck you and the slavers that you work for. Like, that is the message of this song.
What else do you need?
Like, what more is there to say about the song other than what it directly says, right?
just pulling the genius here. Ending a verse packed with criticism of the current Seattle mayor, Jenny Durkan. Nobi brings up the 2017 death of Charlena Lyles, who was killed by Seattle police after Lyles called a report a burglary. Before getting elected in 2017, Durkan went to the Lyles family and promised to be different. Later in 2020, the Lyles family said that she lied. Also in 2020, Durkan faced intense criticism and, as advocated in the song, requests for resignation following questionable leadership and decisions around police reform policy. She didn't resign, but she didn't seek re-election after this term. But yeah, just the ending the rap verse with no arrest for Shalena's death yet. Why the fuck ain't it been done yet? Why the fuck ain't it been done yet? Like, yeah, like, this is so much more direct. And like, again, Natalie, with the way she delivers, especially the line you've been quoting here, is so like unavoidable. Like, you can't ignore that anger.
Yeah, absolutely. And rightfully so. Like, I don't trust you anymore, but in 2020, it's like all of the politeness, all of the sort of like civil cordiality that like existed in 2017 in 2020 was just completely stripped bare into its bare essentials, right? Because like the powers that be showed us that they have like a very strong arm and they'll make you do shit. The artistic shift that we see in this song, especially regarding that, is like so clear. I want to talk about this next song. I have to pee so bad.
Okay.
I'm not pausing my recording. I'm not pausing my recording. I'm just walking to the bathroom. I'm still walking down. You're in my headphones, so anyway.
Okay.
I'm sure future Moth is gonna have fun hearing me approach the mic from a distance talking, saying such bangers as I just didn't want to be pissing while I was actively talking to you. Anyway, so we are back, baby.
We are so back. And we're back with 6 feet.
Yeah, 6 feet.
Another real rough one.
Okay, but
so this one
produced by Dylan Brady.
Yes. It's your boy. It's Dylan Brady.
Yeah, and also, by the way, quite an early get for Dylan Brady, because, like, I think Gex were, like, just blowing up, like, then, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, she, like, really got in early on the 100 Gex. Some are even calling her the 101st Gex, even.
I have heard that. That is very true. So this is the first time we get a song about Natalie's dissociative disorder. And also just dealing with, like, I mean, fuck, I'll just goddamn read this. Oftentimes I scare my reflection. Sometimes I don't like what it sees. I will find myself alone often. It's common, but I'll talk to myself. But it wasn't my own voice that told me, don't scream, one word and I'll crash this car. I know that you don't know me, but I know just who you are. Don't cry, weep for who I'll make you hurt. You don't get to go to hell till you're 6 feet in the dirt.
Natalie left at London. She has dissociative identity disorder. My understanding of it, and I don't have DID. I know some people who do, and I did talk to them in preparation for this podcast, and I did a little bit of research, but I'm not an expert. But my understanding of it is that it's a sort of an anxiety and depression kind of manifestation, where like, and also the result of trauma often, that you sort of create sort of like alternate, or your mind kind of creates like alternate personalities. And they can kind of vary with like intensity, like, and they are sometimes also associated with memory changes, but not always. And it can be very intense, but essentially like you sort of like your mind, your psyche kind of creates what are called alters. And an alter is like an identity, a personality that sort of does things for you. It's like you struggle with this thing or like you like have this trauma, and this altar holds that for you. It holds these things for you in a way so that your sort of ego, your like core identity, does not have to hold them all the time. Again, not an expert. I'm sure I fucked it up. So if you're interested in it, please read more. I am just some fucking stupid bunny girl online who digs a fucking hole for a living. So please, like, don't at me. But
the oversimplification there is crazy. How much detail you were giving me about holes yesterday and everything. Look, please, I know you're joking, but don't sell yourself short. You are incredibly intelligent and super fucking fascinating. But go on.
Okay, all right. So I'll rephrase that. I'm a lot of things. The main thing that I am is a very talented archaeologist. But one of the things that I am not is a psychiatrist or a psychologist of any note at all. I think a lot of this song is sort of dealing with like, especially the line, "You don't get to go to hell till you're 6 feet in the dirt." When you're just in a dissociative state, it can, like, depending on the memory issues, like, it's kind of like you cease to exist a little bit, which is sort of like microdosing death a little bit. But I think people's experience varies with it. But like, and also like, "Weep for who I'll make you hurt" is like, I think particularly like resonant with that. It's like, you know, like an altar can like hurt someone in your life that maybe you don't want to. And you sort of have to like deal with the fallout of that, because, you know, I mean, like, if someone in your life hurts you and then later they come back and say, "Oh, like, I'm sorry," like, I would understand there being fallout to that the dissociative person sort of has to deal with, which is very difficult. It's harsh, but also like it's incredibly well produced. Hooks for fucking days, girl. Like,
yeah. Choke.
Oh, Choke is so good. I love Choke. Choke is on my liked songs. It's one of those. Yeah, it's.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Choke is so interesting. Choke is what are your thoughts on it? I have so many.
Yeah, I mean, it's complex for sure. A lot of this stuff can be kind of multi-layered, right? Even if this is metaphorical, just talking in a broad sense, BDSM kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When you look at it, a lot of it is more than just the pleasure in the moment. A lot of it could be either dealing with another thing, helping in some way. And this track, in how it really breaks it down, is just extremely fascinating to me. And I'm pretty sure it's one of the things that my mom did not say by name, but hey, Mom, that she found very fascinating was the episode where I talked about liking being choked, is that, like, it really does kind of make you think. Like, why?
Being choked?
Why do I
Being choked makes you think?
Yeah.
I have the opposite of... It has the opposite effect on me.
Okay. There's a lot of stuff, like choking, any kind of, like, pain being inflicted, anything like that. Like we talked about in the last track, the microdosing death kind of thing. That's definitely part of it, you know? And with this one, especially with the chorus, so turn the lights off, baby, can you feel my heart? Can you choke me harder, for I fall apart? Turn the lights off, baby, can I make you come? If I can't feel pleasure, can I give you some? Another thing that doesn't really get talked about too much in the transitioning bodily changes thing is that, yeah, the way you feel pleasure does change, you know? And I'm only attacking this song in a way that is familiar for me. If this isn't the intent of the original lyrics or anything like that, like, this is just what I'm getting out of it, is that especially like the "if I can't feel pleasure, can I give you some?" I mean, I definitely feel pleasure. It's just different now. But pleasure in the way I used to isn't the same, if that makes sense. Like, we can get into the nitty-gritty specifics, but it's different.
I think it's actually not about transition at all. I think it's about antidepressants often have a massive effect on like your sex drive and your ability to like feel like sexual pleasure. I think it's about that. I think it's about, and even if it's not even about medication, but about being depressed and feeling unable to like, I feel like actually a lot of the song is much more about being a depressed, anxiously attached person. And it has the sound of, and one of the things that I like about this song is that it sounds like a sex jam, but it's not.
Yes.
It's, and it talks about sex, but it's not about sex. It's about like anxiously wanting someone to love you and wanting to please them and do like what they want. You know, it's not like she is a non-entity in it, right? If I can't feel pleasure, can I give you some? You know what I mean? And it's called choke because being choked is a sexual act, but also because like depression can feel like you're being choked, or like having particular like mental crises can feel like you're being choked, right? Verse 1. She says, like halfway through the verse, you say you love me always, and I appreciate the sentiment. So pardon me if I'm hesitant. I can't believe you some days. But it's because of something wrong with me. Is optimistic what I ought to be? And I think that kind of illustrates it, right? There's like this like sense of depression in the lyrics. It seems to become more desperate with time, right? Like verse 2. You said you'd never leave me, and I appreciate the sentiment, but even love can be indefinite. You said, babe, please believe me, but I'm accustomed to the mess I've made. I tend to blame it on the retrograde. I know it's not a sex jam, but I might put it on a sex jam playlist because it sounds like that, you know?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely does. Very clever in that way, too.
It kind of reminds me of there's a Sutra Dream song 5 is very similar, where 5 is like, it sounds like a sex jam, but it's about having a panic attack. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I think I even tweeted that once where I was like, I love that Saoirse could like make a song that's like about having a panic attack, but it's it sounds like a sex jam. And she responded to me like, I'm not saying you're wrong, but like, what song are you thinking of? And I'm like, 5. And she's like, oh yeah, you're right.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. Not to drop, not to drop any names in my mentions or anything, but yeah.
We go from there to Safety First.
Oh boy.
Another bit of a rough one here.
Especially for me.
Touching on the same theme from earlier, the Are You Safe from God damn, I split my ribs open.
I added this one to my crying
It's time to cry.
playlist. Yeah, it's time to cry, baby. Because as of even today, it has made me cry every single time I've listened to it. It's extremely good, but also just difficult for me to listen to. Yeah.
I have this section here quoted, but I haven't felt that way in so long. A love like ours was such a pleasant one. But honestly, my trust in love has faltered, and now I have regrets and gratitude. And if falling in love is all that it takes to make you love the world, you'll be bitter when they go, because even infinity, in its entirety, can still turn to nothingness when it's multiplied by 0.
Yeah.
God damn, that line. Like, to end a verse that way is so rough. And just the way it ends is such a heartbreaker. The song gets so intense, and the build-up is so harsh and loud. All the while, you just have this, I should be patient, I should be kind, but I don't have the energy anymore. I shouldn't envy, I shouldn't boast, but I don't have the energy anymore. I shouldn't seek the love for myself, but I don't know how I could call it a day. You knew your love was conditional, and then everything just drops out, and it's...
Why did you promise to stay?
I'll tell you the lines that get me, right? I give my heart out only for it to break. I fell in love. It's a beginner's mistake. That one? Oh, man. All right, girls. Hear me out, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That long-distance lesbian situationship, you better fucking buy a plane ticket right now, okay? It's fleeting. It does not last a long time. Don't fall in love. It's a beginner's mistake, okay? She told me you can paint your anger, but try to get my good side as well. That also is such a beautiful line to me, because it's like, you know, I mean, when you're heartbroken, especially in like a situation where it's like, maybe you kind of get the other person's perspective with the whole thing, you know? Like, you want to be mad, but at the same time, like, and maybe you want to write art about it, but like, try to get my good side as well. You know, it's like not always a one-sided thing. I saw you at a party, but I couldn't reach you. I said I missed you. You said good to see you. Oh. You know, sometimes you feel something about someone that is not reciprocated in the same way. And that literally, just like in terms of like economy of line, economy of word, that is like that is a fucking shot of tequila, okay, in terms of its like pure like concentration and distillation, you know? Like, I said I missed you, you said good to see you. Ugh.
I write for no one in particular. I sing for someone I may never meet, but I would like to smile again. I would like to kiss somebody and cry.
Yeah, me too, girl. So, T-shirt.
Another rough one, but in a different way. Natalie Puff, Left at London, has confirmed in an article by Flood magazine that this song is about suicidal ideation. Natalie began writing the song in high school pre-transition, specifically the second half of the chorus. She had the ideas for the chords and the feelings she wanted to evoke, but she didn't complete the song with the intention of it being listened to until more recently. Natalie Puff describes the song, it's about suicidal ideation, and how things are technically getting better in theory, despite the ideation getting worse and worse. The single cover is in fact me pre-transition at 12, walking on the beach, like the chorus suggests. And just the pull quotes here, I cry so much more, but at least it feels more like healing than it did before, but I still can't shake the feeling that if I could go outside again and I could be like any other girl, I'd dress in a face mask and walk on the beach till my feet hurt. And if I were 12 years old again and I had all the money in the world, I'd buy a pool pass and drown myself in a t-shirt.
Woof.
Woof. Fucking woof.
So like I said, a bright note on the record.
Yeah, real one. I don't deal with suicidal ideation all that much. I definitely did, which again was very a pre-transition feeling. I feel like a lot of feelings and emotions really came into scope, or definitely made clearer after transitioning. But specifically, I cry so much more now, but at least it feels more like healing. I mean, we've kind of talked about this before, but like crying in itself pre-transition was so incredibly hard for me. I would default to anger instead. I wouldn't let myself process the emotions. Then just kind of afterwards be like, yeah, I'm fine. Because I would get that burst of energy out. And in doing so, like I did kind of feel a little bit better because I got it out of my system. But at the same time, I didn't allow myself to really process the feelings. And I think that is so much more important now. And a part of the healing process when you do cry is that you do really take the time to be like, okay, why do I feel this way? What is the root of it? And I think for me, I know results may vary, but I'm way more in tune now with my feelings. And I don't know if it's apparent. I don't know if it's evident. But the prog just hit.
You did start to seem like suddenly very sleepy. Like it's very interesting.
I'm okay. I'm not sleepy. I'm yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm with you.
We can continue. I think I'm on the same wavelength as you though now. I think we're good.
Okay. Okay, sick. 'Cause, I just finished my like 5th beer, so let's fucking go.
Holy shit, let's go, girl. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go, girls.
Let's go, girls.
By the way, I'm really fun at a dive if anyone wants to take me out. But who want me? Yeah, it's funny that you say that, like, difficult for you to cry early on, like pre-transition, and since then you feel a lot more in touch with your emotions and a lot more able to cry. I definitely agree with all of that, except one thing, which is that I did cry a lot pre-transition.
Okay.
So you can imagine that now I cry all the time. I cry a lot. I cry about everything. In fact, I decided over the course of the past 2 weeks, no reason, that I want to get a crybaby tattoo on my like upper thigh in like old English font, just the words crybaby.
I love that.
Yeah, well, it's so me. I am a crybaby. Are you kidding? I cry endlessly over the dumbest shit imaginable, right? I mean, right? So this song is obviously like quite dark, but one of the things that I think is really interesting about this song and the last song is that I think, and I'm not a big music theory person, but I think both of them are in major keys. Mm-hmm. They're not minor key songs. They're major key songs, but they're also super fucking sad.
Yeah.
But there's something about like a sad song that's in a major key that's just like the clown with teardrops running down its face vibe. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Actually, in some ways makes it sadder. It's a tough one. It's a hard listen. Honestly, a lot of Transgender Street Legend Volume 2 is a tough listen.
Yeah, I think it kind of comes back around with My Friends Are Kind of Strange. This is another one that deals with DID, but
yes,
just as a passing listener, just reading this out loud, My Friends Are Kind of Strange, I think they're awfully sweet. If you ever would be interested, I think you all should meet. My friends are kind of strange. I guess that so are we, 'cause it's only ever normal folks that other me. Like I said, from my vantage point, not dealing with DID, not having alters and everything like that, I think it's still relatable in a kind of sense of like, how I Saw the TV Glow is very resonant with people who are trans and went through that, but it also kind of touches on your relationship with nostalgia. Like, there's still something there, you know? I think someone could get something out of that even if they aren't trans. Just in the very blanket, broad sense. I think a lot of my friends are kind of strange / positive.
Yeah. I love freaks.
Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. Like, I very rarely run into a normie trans girl, really. Like, I was joking with Lexi, friend of the show, Carolina Phoenix on Twitter.
Yes.
About how, at my very core, I can be a basic white woman. And I think that kind of helps me be relatable to the average cis woman. But if you got to know me on a deeper level, on a deeper meaningful level, you would realize that I'm a little fucking freak. I am a little weirdo.
But you're also special. Okay.
But I've had this exact moment, especially the, if you ever would be interested, I think you all should meet. One of my favorite fucking things is having a friend from one realm and then introducing them to another friend that means a lot to me. And just kind of seeing that connection. And it's like, fuck, I'm so glad that y'all get along well. I'm so glad. Like, this is so sweet. Like, we had the fucking board game night. Lexi's coming up from South Carolina. I have local North Carolina friends. Seeing them interact fucking makes my heart sing. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, especially if the people from different backgrounds and seeing them find common ground and being trans, being, like it says, being othered. And when you all come together like this, it's such an incredibly powerful and important situation where you see the bond form in real time. And I fucking love that so much. And it makes me really happy.
I so agree. And you know what? There's nothing like a bunch of freaks all in one room, okay? It's great. There was an essay written by, I think it's Helmet Girl on Twitter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And she talked about just, like, the experience of, like, being trans and, like, working a service job and, like, wrote about that at length. But there's, like, one line that she wrote that, like, really, really resonated with me, which is that, like, you know, it's so interesting, like, when you, like, hang out with another trans woman that, like, you know, there's so many things about each of you that make you, like, you know, like, weird freaks, right? But, like, when you hang out together, you sort of become nothing. And it's so true, because it's like, because the only other people in the room are also freaks. So then you're just normal, right? Like, you're just a regular person in the room, you know, and that's, like, so powerful, because I often don't feel like that. Now, this song is being like, oh, wouldn't it be interesting if, like, all of my alters could meet each other because they're only ever out at one moment. Which is a very particular kind of experience, and also because I do not have this particular thing, cannot speak on it. She really paints a very vivid image of that experience, so especially the part where it's like, you look so familiar, have we met before? Like, over and over again. Like, you know, I imagine it's gotta be strange to, like, have met people and be like, oh, I actually you look familiar, but I don't know who you are. We've never met. You met someone else, actually. Which has got to be a particular thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Oh, the composition is so good, baby. Like hooks for days again. Like, and it's all, like, very, it kind of goes a little bit back towards the, like, sort of early 2000s pop kind of feel, which I love.
I love the choir of people singing at the end.
Oh my god, yes. Especially like considering like the themes of it, the choir is a very interesting choice, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because a choir is a group of people singing as one, right? A system of people, if you will.
Yes.
And now we have Volume 3, which came out 3 years ago in 2022. And it opens with easily one of my favorite Left at London songs. And in fact, the song that I usually use to introduce people to Left at London. Because, like, you know, if it's...
Oh, that's a really good pull.
I think it's really the most illustrative. If you're going to listen to one song by Left at London, you've got to listen to this one. Very, very R&B, very jazzy.
Soulful Natalie is back in the building.
Oh my god, yes. I think it's interesting poetry, too. Not just in its composition, which is, again, incredible. Again, we get fucking whistle notes back. Like, or at least falsetto. I don't know what a whistle note is. I've been saying that word this whole podcast. I don't fucking know what it is, but so don't at me. But like, it's so interesting. So basically, she tells a story, and she says, and it opens with, "Okay, stop me if you've heard this," right? So this guy walks into a bar, you know, so it like starts out as a joke, right? But the song is called I'm Not Laughing Anymore, right? And she tells this story of like this guy who walks into the bar, he sees his therapist who's drinking at the bar, and he goes up to her and he like starts talking to her as if it's a fucking therapy session. She just is not having any of it, and she's like, you know, fuck you. We're not, this is not a therapy session. I'm dealing with my own shit. I'm a person. We have a professional relationship. She leaves, and he goes and like attempts suicide, and is pulled off of the bridge and is put into a facility, against his will, right? You know, the next day the therapist wakes up, doesn't remember anything that happened because she was so drunk. Goes to work. He doesn't show up, so she charges him $50 for a no-show, and like that's like the joke, right?
That's the punchline, and then she does a little laugh at the end. It's so cute.
Yeah. It's a funny joke, but also like the lyrics in it are so good. So like the chorus is like the first chorus is from the man's perspective because he's talking to the therapist, and it's like, because I'm hoping, praying that if I'm gonna stay, meaning like stay alive, it'll be better than before. But I'm worn out, broken. Man, I feel like a joke, but I'm not laughing anymore. Yes. And the thing is, okay, so that's chorus one. Chorus two is from the perspective of the therapist. She's like, you've been hopeless lately, and if you're gonna stay, it'd be better to ignore, because I'm worn out and broken, and I feel like a joke, but I'm not laughing anymore, right?
Yes.
But here's the ironic thing, though, Moth. Both of them are literally a joke.
They're in a joke.
They're both literally in a joke. They are both literally a joke.
This is some Twilight Zone shit.
I love this song. And this is the song that I play for people.
I think it's some of the more
so good.
Impressive variety in vocal styling too. Because you got the verse, and it just starts with, like, there's no way I can imitate it, but it's like, I think I need some sleep. And it's, ooh, baby. And it's so, ooh. But then the fucking chorus, 'cause I'm hoping, pray. And it's like, ooh, that's shift.
It's so soulful, babe. It's sultry. This would also go hard on a fucking sex playlist.
Honestly, yeah.
The issue is the spoken word parts. that they would not necessarily go off. Just like
if the sex is so good and you're not really paying that close of attention to the lyrics, the vibe here, yeah,
especially because there's like
100%.
Yeah, and there's like a chorus. There's like a chorus in meaning like there's like there's like group vocals in the background that's like wham wham.
Yes.
And that like when she's speaking, it's so good. It's so good. So if you've been listening to this and you haven't listened to any of these songs yet, this should be your first listen. It's so good. Also, the music video is great. It's all animated.
Oh my god, yes. It's such a good music video. It's done so beautifully. I love it.
Yes.
Going into Shush, another song with distorted, shouty vocals, which, as much as I love smooth, soulful Natalie vocals, the distorted, shouty vocals hit so fucking hard.
They're so
and it's just
good.
like, yeah.
Yeah, and like this one, you can tell that like she's been at this for a while because it's like everything has just like her recording, her composition, her lyricism. It's all like improved with each like addition, right? It's like each time, like the lyrics get like more and more deep, and you know, arguably like a lot of them have similar songs, right? So like the first EP has Revolution Lover, and the second EP has Do You See Us, which is very similar to Revolution Lover, except way more complicated, way better written, way like deeper and more specific. Right? It's like she's refining, right? Same thing with Waiting on a Ghost and Safety First. Same kind of song, same kind of vibe, same kind of theme, right? But it's just all refined.
Transgender Street Legend Volume 3 did come out after There Is a Place for You Here. The debut full-length studio album.
Yes.
Which, again, is just fucking fantastic. I love that album so much.
It's so good. Pills and Good Advice, baby!
A 10-minute opener that is so fucking ambitious, and it goes so goddamn hard. I saw her perform it on a Twitch live stream, and I was so goddamn captivated. I thought it was so good.
Oh, that's so good.
And also, just like the songs like the Ballad of Marian Zinacek always sticks with me. Just this real life story.
Yeah. Like and Kudzu, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Kudzu.
Yeah.
God. So fucking good.
And I like that there's a place for you here, but also the song There's a Protest for Your Heart.
Yes.
Multiple ways to interpret the name of the album, the abbreviation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So fucking good.
It's so good.
I mean, we're talking about the EPs here, but this whole goddamn discography is a hard recommend. Some of the most incredible fucking shit you're gonna hear. And that's not even me exaggerating or talking her up as a friend, but Natalie is fucking incredible. A quote I took from Shush. If I don't keep my head up, how will I know you still want me? If I don't keep my pace up, you might ghost and I will let you haunt me. Let me hold your silence. I won't waste your time. Keep on pointing fingers. I won't have the strength to hold up mine.
God, and the fucking
hell, girl.
and the fucking like vocals in this part.
To hold up mine.
Yes, it's so good. It's so like jazzy, funky, like I love it. And you know, this is sort of like in many ways, I would say it's similar to Choke, but like, you know, just like how we were talking about, like it's like each EP, there's sometimes like like themes or songs that kind of rhyme with each other thematically. This is very similar to Choke, I think. Like, where it's like about and also to I Split My Ribs Open, where it's like it's this like it's a sort of like anxious avoidant attachment relationship. Everything is just like way more dialed in, way more confident, way more complex in like really interesting ways. It's like, ugh, I love it. I love it.
I think it's really interesting with My Old Ways. There is one very particular thing that popped up in the Genius notes that I wanted to quote here. It says, originally part of a hypothetical guest verse for an unreleased Chuck Sutton song.
Yeah.
The chorus was later used as part of a beat battle amongst friends where she made a song under the constraints of 3 instrumental tracks and a time limit of 1 hour, which is nuts. The song contains 2 samples, one of which is a demo of a jazz song Natalie wrote and performed alongside her classmates in college. The song has been featured in Fortnite as a part of the in-game radio. And I just wrote down, oh, you mean the song about being hospitalized?
The kids love it, all right? Right next to Sabrina Carpenter and fucking John Wick and Peter Griffin. The song about being hospitalized.
Yes. The way it opens, which again is very reminiscent of Waiting on a Ghost. I used to feel special. I used to play the fool. The drugs I tried don't work, but the ones they gave me do. They say I'm somewhat stable. I say, well, I don't know. I had the urge to say, but they said, ma'am, you're free to go. Like, you gotta love the healthcare system, baby.
You gotta love it. And also, like, you know, it kind of ties into some of the stuff in I'm Not Laughing Anymore, right? About, like, being hospitalized and things like that. And, like, the healthcare system generally kind of being fucked up and, like, exploiting you for your money, you know? He's charged $50 for a no-show.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Because she has no idea he's hospitalized. Yeah, she just thinks he bailed. I also really love the interlude of unintelligible digital vocals at one point. It's just like gibberish sounding. I ate that shit up. I love that, just coming in there. But this part here is so great. Don't know what to say. I'm high like every day. It's how I manage having me around. Everything's expensive, regardless. I'm like, the best things in life are filled with carcinogens. Like, I mean, yeah. What you gonna do?
Yeah. I love my aspartame. Okay. I love my sugar-free sweet drinks. Okay. I love my nicotine. What can you do? The world fucking sucks, and I have to survive in it, you know? So sometimes you drink 5 beers and you record a podcast with your friend alone in your hotel room. Okay? It happens. All right.
That's just the way it goes, baby. And
that, you know, you gotta go where the wind blows, you know what I mean?
Yup. And we mentioned it in a cutout section a few minutes ago, and I apologize for being so low effort. The prog is hit really hard. But we're good.
You're sleepy. Also, you have to wake up in like 5 hours, so
noon. Make that 4.
4 hours.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, it's not noon. It's goddamn midnight. Go.
You know, the other noon.
The other noon. Dun, 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 dun. So make you proud.
Oh my god. Yes.
And in the mirror, I look like my father, which I fucking talked about. That was what goddamn started me transitioning in the first place. So I could relate.
But in the pictures, I look like my mother.
Which is, again, very true. We've actually had this discussion. I found a picture in a photo album of my mom around the same age I am now, and put it side by side with a picture of me from maybe like a couple months ago. And yeah, everybody was right to say we look very much the same, and everyone fucking thinks we're sisters, which is so sweet.
Yeah, I love that.
And to them both, I look like their daughter. And then my sis, we look like each other. That's so sweet. I love hearing that shit too.
Yes.
And in the family photos I savor, I guess we all look older by now. But as things have changed, their hair, clothes, their ages, scrapbooks will start to run out of pages. Like, it feels really fucked, and I hate when I hear other trans girls and trans people in general talking about their families not being accepting. And it's so incredibly fucked. And to just acknowledge and fucking appreciate that my folks have been very chill. And, like, there was definitely a transition period where things were a little rough. But it's gotten so much better. And I can't say enough about them. Like, I love them so much. They've really been there for me, and I really appreciate that.
I think we're on the last song, baby. Let's do it.
This is Will My Altars Go to Heaven?
And this one is so interesting.
This is such a fucking way to end it, yeah.
You know, she's thinking about her altars, her, like, other identities, personalities, if you will. But also, like, not just that, but, like, her own life and mortality. So obviously it's like, will my altars go to heaven is the big one. But also this song is fairly, like, short in terms of lyrics, so I'm just going to read the whole thing. Party in the stars, leave behind the past life. Home is where you'll be, somewhere past my scars. Fragments of my past life. Traveling towards me. And I'd like to think that I will make it there someday. But when we go, do all of us find our own way? 'Cause I must know, I ask you, will my altars go to heaven? Will they be with me? Heaven deserves them. I can't desert them. Where will they be? Tell me locations, accommodate their every need. Will they be separate, together, or disappear entirely? Will the same thing happen to me?
God damn.
Yeah, it's a very powerful question, you know, especially because like I said, like, you know, a lot of times, again, not a psychologist, not a psychiatrist, very, very shallow surface level understanding of these things, but like alters are like aspects of yourself. They're not necessarily like separate entities, but sometimes they can be, right? Sometimes they can be quite different from you, you know? But one of the things that they do for you is they help you. They fundamentally are like part of a system that holds trauma for you. It holds, you know, difficulties for you. It holds like things that are hard. Like perhaps like if you really struggle with one thing, you might develop an altar that deals with that thing for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It can be understandable to love that, right? To love that altar, that personality, that identity, you know? And I don't know if this is the case for Natalie, but I have heard that like some people who are like a system can describe like altars being reabsorbed back into the ego, where like you might reach a point where you don't need an altar to hold things for you. You can do it yourself. So it comes back within yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I often think about like, well, especially that line, will they be separate, together, or disappear entirely? You know, like what happens in that case? But also like fundamentally, like they are just identities. They are just parts of the self. But what happens to the self when you die, right? Like, isn't that a thing that even if you don't experience this, don't we all sort of wonder and think about that? Of course we do.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a really beautiful end to the whole thing. And
it feels like a hymn or a gospel song, you know?
It does. Yeah. I love how much this album deals with these things, because it really does. Like, for someone like me who's completely unaware, it definitely does help put things into perspective, which, again, sets it apart from a lot of other work from transgender people that may have hurt its accessibility. I don't know. But I love the fact that this album is so incredibly deeply personal, and you can tell the songs mean so much to her that she puts so much of herself into these recordings. Besides just the energy and the vocals and the sometimes extremely raw emotion that comes across in these recordings, that, like, I know there was like a big kick of like, you know, checking on your mental health or whatever, and then we just as like a society kind of like drifted apart from it. But the fact that it takes such a focal point on this record is so incredibly important, and I can't imagine how meaningful it had to have been to people dealing with the same thing.
I just want more Left at London songs to exist, okay? Like, her most recent release, LOL period.
Oh, yeah.
Is so good. It came out last year. It has been in my on repeat for months. It fell off, but, you know, let's just say recent events have put it back on my on repeat. Let's just say that.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I want to say one thing real quick. I don't know how I feel about how coherent you're being after 5 beers and how I'm, like, struggling with taking a goddamn prog. That's not fair, first of all. You're keeping it together really well over there.
Look, Irish girls maintain, baby. It's in our DNA, okay?
I was gonna say, I guess that's right. It might have felt a little tasteless for me to say in the moment, but yeah, that's true. Y'all just kind of have that in your bones.
Someone take me to a dive. I'm fun.
I mean, I don't drink or anything, but I would absolutely love to be there for it. Just to witness, you know? Be in the presence, so to speak. We didn't mention this at the top, but another reason I really wanted to talk about the Transgender Street Legend Trilogy is because if you've been following Left at London socials, there's been a compilation in the works for a minute to release the 3 EPs all together in one release, and most importantly to me, goddamn CD release, baby. Goddamn, I need that shit.
Oh my god. You can put it on your giant collection of CDs.
Yes, well, it would be separate in the shrine to trans artists specifically, alongside my audio cassette version of the full length, because it got an album release, it got a vinyl release and a cassette release, but it didn't get a CD release, so I had to settle on the cassette tape. But it's there. It's right next to my copy of I Met the Devil in Portland. Is that the name of it? The Anita Velveeta album?
Oh, yes. Ugh.
Other releases that unfortunately only... Well, no, that got a CD release. I actually do have to get that soon. I got the cassette at the concert because they didn't have CDs available at the show, and I didn't realize it was available on CD, or else I might have held out. But I might get another copy of it on CD just to have it.
You should.
I know.
You and your physical media.
I was gonna say... the last thing I need is more, but also I need more. So,
yeah,
it's ever building. It's only growing. It's gonna take over this whole goddamn room eventually. That's the dream, really, to not be able to turn around in it without knocking shit over. I'm very proud of it.
But yeah.
Speaking of another thing that fucking came out of 2020, my goddamn retail therapy, buying CDs as a way of coping with the depression and the COVID woes. We've talked about doing a show where we get a little fucked up for a long time now. And to finally do it on this one of all releases is very interesting. But here we are. talking for 2.5 hours about this incredibly impactful, incredibly inspiring, deeply emotional and haunting at times release from one of the best out there, Natalie Puff, Left at London. But we're gonna call it here, folks. I desperately need to go to sleep, and you have not so much work tomorrow, but you have work tomorrow as well.
Yarp, the whole beckons, as it always does. So yeah, as always, stay strong, bitches.
Stay strong, bitches. I love you, Siobhan. I love you, listeners.
I love you.
And thank you so much for listening to the show. It means the world to us that you spend your time with us, and I hope you do again next time. And next time I'll be a little more chipper, I promise. The theme song for She, They Just Like Me For Real is performed by Stella Dolce. You can follow Stella on TikTok and Instagram and hear her music across all major streaming platforms.